You know what I see in boardroom right now? Brilliant executives, decades of experience that would make anyone jealous, completely frozen. Not because they don't understand AI, not because they lack vision, because the nervous system is screaming danger, 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 and they have no idea how to regulate it. This is Sahar Andrade. I am your AI whisperer. This is episode 1 of our season 3. This is AI Cafe Conversations. And before we go forward, I just wanted to thank you all for making this podcast one of the top 2% podcasts globally. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. So going back to the executives in boardrooms. Today, we are talking about the invisible crisis nobody's addressing, the leadership dysregulation. So let's dive in. Here is what's happening right now. A CEO gets a report. Shadow AI usage is at 72% in their organization. Unauthorized tools everywhere, data exposure risks, compliance nightmares. Their heart rate spikes, palms sweat, mind races. Within 24 hours, they have issued a company-wide ban on all AI tools. No conversation, no strategy, just shut down. That's dysregulation. And it's happening in boardrooms across America. When your brain perceives a threat, like rapid technological disruption, your sympathetic nervous system activates. Your prefrontal cortex goes offline. Strategic thinking, gone. Your amygdala takes over. Survival mode activated. And suddenly, you're not making executive decisions. You're making survival decisions. Fight, ban everything, control everything, micromanage everything. Flight, delay, committees, let's wait and see, paralysis by analysis. Freeze, shut down, ignore it, hope it goes away. None of these are strategy. They are nervous system responses masquerading as leadership. So let me tell you what this costs. I worked with a Fortune 500 executive, a brilliant woman, 25 years of leadership experience. Her team started with using AI tools. Productivity shot up, innovation accelerated, but she wasn't consultant and she wasn't in control. Her nervous system activated. Within a week, she shut it all down, banned the tools, implemented oversight so heavy that innovation ground to a halt. 6 months later, her top performers left. They went to companies that embraced what she rejected. She did not lose them because of AI. She lost them because she was dysregulated. Here is the truth no one wants to hear. Your nervous system doesn't care about your MBA or your PhD. It doesn't care about your experience. What it perceives threat, it overwrites everything. And AI disruption, your brain reads it as existential, loss of control, loss of relevance, loss of status. Your amygdala doesn't distinguish between a saber-toothed tiger and technological disruption. A threat is a threat. And unless you learn to regulate yourself first, every AI decision you make will be a fear-based decision. So what do regulated leaders do differently? 3 things. Number 1, they recognize activation. Regulated leaders know that dysregulation feels like in their body. They know where it goes. Racing thoughts, tight chest, urgent need to do something now. They notice, name it, my nervous system is activated. That awareness, that's the first step, because you can't regulate what you can't recognize. Second, they pause before reacting. What dysregulation hit and when it hits, Dysregulated leaders react immediately. Regulated leaders, they pause. Not forever, just long enough to let the prefrontal cortex come back online. Sometimes that's 10 seconds, sometimes it's 24 hours, but they don't make decisions from activation. They wait until they can access strategic thinking again. Third, they lead from clarity, not fear. Once they are regulated, they ask different questions. Not how do I stop this, but what does my organization actually need? Not how do I regain control, but how do I create the conditions for success? Regulated leaders make decisions that serve the mission, not their nervous system. And here is a real example. I worked with a CEO facing the exact same shadow AI crisis, 72% usage, unauthorized tools, compliance risks. His nervous system activated hard, but instead of reacting, he paused. He recognized that I'm in a fight mode. This is my amygdala talking, the best of emotional intelligence, right? Self-awareness. He waited 48 hours. Then he approached it differently. He did not ban AI. He asked, what are my people trying to solve? Turns out they were using AI because internal processes were broken. So instead of shutting down AI, he fixed the processes. He created approved tools, offered training, built guardrails. Shadow AI usage dropped to 12%. Innovation accelerated and trust deepened. Same situation, opposite outcome. The difference? Regulation. So here is what I want you to understand. You don't need to be fearless. You don't need to eliminate trust. Anyhow, fearless doesn't mean that you're acting without fear. It means that you're acting despite of fear. So you don't need to be fearless, like I said, and you don't need to eliminate stress, but you need to be regulated. To recognize when your nervous system is driving the bus. To pause when you make decisions you will regret. To lead from clarity instead of fear. Because here is the truth. AI transformation is not a technology problem like most people are looking at it. It's a nervous system problem. And this is what everyone is missing. And that's why there is disruption. That's why there is misalignment. People are burned out. And until you address your regulation first, every strategy you implement will fail. Not because the strategy is wrong, but because you are implementing it from a dysregulated state. Regulations come before strategy, always. If this episode is hitting home, if you are realizing you have been leading from activation instead of clarity, I want you to do something. Go to my website and take the Shadow AI assessment. I will also put the link to the assessment in the description of this podcast. I will show you exactly where this regulation is showing up in your leadership. When fear is driving your decisions, and what regulated leadership looks like in your organization, this is not about perfection. It's about awareness. And awareness, that's where transformation begins. And if you want to talk about what regulated leadership looks like for you specifically, book a consultation, a free or a complimentary self-discovery 30-minute session. I will also have the link in the description of this podcast. Because leaders who figured this out in 2025, they are not surviving disruption. They are building the future. Thanks for being here. If this resonated, share it with another leader who needs to hear it. Like I always say, show me some love. Share it, subscribe, save it. If you want to get hold of me, you can email me at sahar@saharconsulting.com, on LinkedIn, Sahar Andrade, on Instagram, Sahar the Reinvent Coach. The website is www.saharconsulting.com. This was the Friday short edition. This is our first episode of 2026. We're carrying a series about regulated leader, and it's becoming more important than anything now, especially with AI. The two words that we took from 2025 was misalignment and disruption, because people feel they're not being seen and they're not being heard. So this is what we are going to be talking about for the last few episodes. This is Friday, what I call the Forbes article-like podcast. Let me know what you want me to talk about this year in our season 3. And again, thank you for making us one of the top 2% podcasts globally. I will see you on Wednesday for our next episode in the Path Forward series. This was the first episode of it. And our Wednesday episode will be from chaos to clarity. Until then, stay curious, stay regulated, and keep leading forward. This is Sahar Andrade, your AI Whisperer. Thank you for being here today, and I will see you next episode. Peace out.